These are my note cards. This is my audience. All right. Have you ever thought about building a computer? How about upgrading one you already have to something better and more advanced? Today, my name is Siegrist, and I'm going to tell you how to build and/or upgrade your computer. The best way to do that is to use the various parts you have in your computer and find what works best for yourself. There's a lot of different nuances with them. There's compatibility. There's buying the parts, buying them smartly, knowing how to put them together by following the manufacturer's guides, and then installing your OS. So let's get right into the parts themselves. So to start it off, we have the CPU, your processor. This is essentially the brain of your computer. That's what gets everything going the way it needs to go. You have your operating system, which for this type would be Windows 10. It's to make it a more interactive user interface, so you don't have to know code in order to use a computer. Then you have your RAM, which is your fast short-term memory. Then you have your storage, which in this case I have an SSD. This is your long-term memory, which stores all the data on your computer. Then you have your graphics card. And usually it's part of the processor, but if you want a discrete one, like this one, it'll calculate the display a lot faster, and it's more efficient, and it's better for your computer. Then we have the motherboard, which is essentially the hub for your computer. It's where everything plugs into and everything gets going. And then after that, you have your accessories, which are your monitor, your mouse. You have the power supply, which gives power to the computer. You have fans. PB Bates at MakeUseOfUs.com suggests that heat is the main enemy of all computers. So making sure that you have good fans is paramount in order to make sure that it stays working for a long time. So I talked about compatibility at the beginning of my speech. What is compatibility? Well, all these parts are made by different people, and as you might expect, they may not all fit together the way you want them to. So WePC.com suggests you find out if your parts are compatible before you try to order them and get them all together. It can save you a lot of headache, that you have to return things and buy new ones. There's websites like PCPartPicker.com that can help you find out what parts are compatible with which and tell you which certain parts of your build that you're shopping for don't work, so you can learn to replace them. So let me get to ordering your parts. There's many ways you can order your parts. You can go through online, or you can shop in a store. Shopping in a store will be a bit harder to find what you're looking for, specifically if you're looking for individual parts that you're found online or searching for. But usually it's good to ask anyone who's working there what they know about things and where to get you to go. Like if you're looking for a processor, what are the best ones in the market right now, graphics cards, price per output. Then you have the online, which is usually where you're going to buy your parts. You have a wider selection, but also have a wider margin for error, since a lot of parts can be sold secondhand for a lot cheaper than they look. Be very careful in doing this. Usually it's safer to buy them from their manufacturer, that way you know you have a fresh, unbroken part. A smart thing to do when you're ordering your parts is to order them all to arrive at the same time. That way when you finally assemble your machine, you can find out if any of your parts are broken or not and try to return it as soon as possible. So now that that's over, we're going to, we have all these parts here. We're going to try to put them together now. Where do they fit? Where do they go where? What plugs into what? So usually the first thing you want to do is you want to start with your motherboard. It's the base of your computer. It's the literal skeleton. Your motherboard has a little port here where the processor goes. There's a little arrow on it, and you line it up with the processor's arrow, and you secure it to there and pin it down with the pin. Once it's nice and secure there, you may move on to adding the CPU fan. This is what fan that keeps the CPU nice and air circulating through it, keeps it nice and cool, because heat is the enemy of all computers. Your PC CPU fan may be a bit weird to install just because there's so many different ways to install one between manufacturers, so it's best to look at your manufacturer's guide when doing so. But when you apply the thermal paste, which is what you put on the top of the processor before you put the fan on, you put a little pea-sized amount just so it spreads evenly across the whole thing when you mount it. Once you mount that, you can install your RAM in the DIMM slots. There's usually about 4 on a motherboard, so you should consult your manufacturer's guide on your RAM stick to find out which port it should go in. Make sure you push it down all the way and secure it tightly. That way it's installed correctly. Next, we have to prepare the actual case. This is the armor of your computer. This is where you're going to put everything and keep it safe and mobile and make sure nothing gets damaged. Usually your motherboard will come with an I/O shield. There'll be a corresponding I/O port on your computer. You'll want to plug it into there, just pop it in. And then after that, you'll take your mounting pins, also come with the motherboard, and make sure you secure those into the case itself. This is important so that when you actually put the motherboard in, it'll have some elevation to rest upon when you're screwed down and mount it into the case. After that, you do as I say, you mount it into the case, line up the I/O shield. That way the motherboard is mounted. From there you can do the next step, which will, I believe, be the power supply. So the power supply supplies all the power to your computer. It's what plugs into the wall and plugs into the motherboard. There's a spot right here usually for it. What you do is you would unscrew and get out the grate. You'd slide your power supply into the computer. Make sure you run all the wires through it so they're already on the other side. And then you would screw it all the way in so it's part of the case now. And you take all those wires and you use the manufacturer's guide and the motherboard's manufacturer's guide to find out where all of those go. All of them should plug into the motherboard in some sense. That way you supply power to your motherboard and your other appliances when we get to that step. So once you've applied that, you can put in your hard drive or SSD. There's usually a spot for it on the computer. For this one, it is right here. And so you would screw it into there and apply it however you can. And then the wires that come with it, you would plug that into your SSD or HDD. And you would plug that into your power supply and or motherboard at your manufacturer's guide's discretion. That way you can supply power to your memory, and that will keep your computer, you can store data on your computer, and that's very important. From there, you would apply the operating system. Once you get everything plugged in and going, you'll need to see if it actually turns on. This way you can check back and forth to see if you messed up anywhere. Once the computer is on, you can begin to install your operating system. C. Franklin and the Custom says that your operating system is very important, as in it is a more user-friendly interface. It allows the computer to be usable for the public without knowing code or how to run background processes. Usually it comes in disk or flash drive form, and you can install it like that. Just plug it in and follow the steps, and you can get your I/O, your operating system running. From there, you can apply any other add-ons like your screen and mouse. Your graphics card can be applied also at this step. It doesn't need to be done at the beginning. But once that's all plugged in, you can, usually it goes right here. You just plug it right in. It should just already be hooked up to the motherboard. And then you can go from there. And that is how you assemble a computer and get one off the ground and running for yourself. And to do that, upgrading one should be a lot easier. And making your own should be a lot less of a headache than it needs to be.